Hi guys, Fireplays here and welcome back to another YouTube video on the channel. And today guys, we are going to be continuing on with the Fixture reaction series. Alright guys, so today we got West Coast, same as normal, predicting every game, rough amount of wins, rough ladder position, and then hardest and easiest part of the fixture. Now again, I do apologise if I forget the hardest and easiest part of the fixture. I haven't been doing them in the last couple. We have had some more dominant teams in the last couple, like Port Adelaide, Richmond I may have forgotten in. But yeah. Anyway, today, it's West Coast's turn. An interesting one. Again, another team that you really don't know what you could expect from them. You could, like, some people could be expecting top 8 from them. Others could be expecting bottom 4. Where do they sit? Well, I'm, like, I haven't seen this fixture yet. I haven't seen West Coast fixture. Of course, I take the ride with you guys. This is all new for me. And I know I've waited this long. And then Western Bulldogs next up to end off the series. So we're going to be ending off the series in a high, the Western Bulldogs. But yep, today it's West Coast's turn. So we're going to be starting things off again. Like, this team is a team that you don't know what you can expect. So this is going to be a really hard one. This is probably going to be one of the more hard ones. And I know I may have said that about a lot, but like, this is definitely true. This is a very hard team. So I'm really excited to see how this is going to be going. West Coast, Gold Coast first game. I do think they should be able to win this one by 30 points, though. I cannot see how they can't win this game by 30 points. I mean, they could win it by 10 points, but I just cannot see West Coast losing this game. Like, I reckon it's going to be close, and I reckon they're going to really go out in that last quarter, kick away to win. Second game, North Melbourne, West Coast Marvel. Now, I have put in a bold tip. I did say this in the North Melbourne fixture reaction. I'm saying this in the West Coast one. I'm saying North. Now, I know that you guys are probably going to be like, North are not winning this game. What are you thinking? Wrong tip. Change it. I'm not changing it. I'm going to keep it the way it is, just because it's West Coast away from home. And if you see how bad West Coast have been at home and away from home, you can see that towards the end of the year, they were getting pretty bad. They were getting to some bad stages. Now, yes, they did still get they did still get some wins last year, but they lost to North at home. So they can't win away then. So I'm saying North by 7. West Coast, Fremantle, Optus Stadium. I reckon let's say there's a baton, right? There's a baton or a gold trophy, right, of who, wins the derby. Let's just pretend there is, right? West Coast were holding that for years. I reckon that's been passed on to Fremantle now. I don't think West Coast obtain it anymore. I think Fremantle are the better team. So now we're going to switch back to real. I think Fremantle will now be the masters of the West. I reckon Fremantle are now better than West Coast. Just because I think this year, 1, I think Fremantle can make the 8 this year. 2, I just think West Coast are getting worse by the year. So for now, I think the title of the West, the better team, is now Fremantle. I think they should be able to take this derby out by 20 points. Now, Collingwood West Coast Marvel Stadium, we saw how this game last year for West Coast went from bad to worse to even worse to even worse. That game was horrible, which we don't want to talk about the horrible games here. So, we're going to put it in a positive way. That game last year was not good. They need to learn from it. Collingwood are going to win this one by about the same amount of points. Now, it is at Marvel, which does change things for me. So I'm going to say Collingwood by only 30 points compared to last year when they won by 45 points. Now, West Coast Sydney Optus Stadium, it doesn't help. They're back at home. Sydney by 30. Port Adelaide, West Coast Adelaide. Now, this could be a monstrous win for Port Adelaide. Now, I am not going to tip that just because I do think West Coast are going to come. They are going to play. I think they have to play against these better teams as well. I think West Coast could actually be okay this year. Now, not saying I don't think they're a bottom 4 team. I definitely don't think they're a top 8 team, however, either. And I'm going to say Port Adelaide by 45 points. By 50 points, actually. West Coast Richmond Optus Stadium. I'm going to say Richmond by 10. I meant by 20. Brisbane West Coast Gabba. I'm going to say Brisbane by 35. West Coast Melbourne. I'm going to say Melbourne by 40. Now, they've got to get their wins from somewhere. They have to get their wins from somewhere, West Coast, and it's going to have to be in the second half, I reckon. It's going to have to be in their second half. Now, GWS West Coast, I think GWS have got this one by 25 points. West Coast Western Bulldogs. Western Bulldogs by 40 points. Adelaide West Coast, tipping an upset. Tipping Adelaide. Tipping them by 10 points. West Coast Geelong, although I do think Adelaide West Coast will be a good game. Now, West Coast could definitely win that game as well. I'm not taking anything away from West Coast. That's definitely a possible game they could win. Same with the one against North Melbourne. It's either this year that their troubles away from home are going to get worse, or they are going to get better. Or they're just going to stay the same, which would pretty much be equivalent to getting worse. Now, West Coast Geelong, Optus Stadium. Geelong by 25 by 35 points. West Coast Essendon, Optus Stadium. I reckon we're in for a good game here. And I'm going to say Essendon by 10. By 15. Richmond, West Coast MCG, Richmond by 35. Now, here's where West Coast can start getting back some wins. I've seen two teams called Carlton and Hawthorn, and I think these two games are winnable. So I'm going to say West Coast over Carlton, and I'm going to say West Coast by 15 points, and I'm going to say West Coast by 10 points over Hawthorn at the MCG. Now, West Coast St Kilda, I'm going to say St Kilda by 25 points, but that could still be a good game. West Coast Gold Coast Metricon, West Coast by 15 points. West Coast Adelaide Optus, West Coast by 20 points. Fremantle West Coast, I'm going to say Fremantle by 25. And Geelong West Coast, I'm sorry West Coast fans, it's going to be a monstrous loss from you, 70 points. Now, if you would have seen their two games that had at GMHBS Stadium last year, they were not good. They were absolutely horrible. So for West Coast, they'll be trying to wipe that data out, but I just don't think you can possibly do that. So, amount of wins. This is going to be a grey number. We've got one. We've got one still. Still only got one. Still got one. Still got one. We have still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's redo that. I don't think West Coast are getting 5 wins this year. I think they are going to get more than that. So, let's go over how many possibly. So, 1, 2, right? So, I've tipped 5. Now, let's go over how many winnable games there are. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. So, it's still not a great number anyway. It's a very grey, very dark, very bad number. It's not a great number. 5 to 7 now for West Coast, right? This is going to be sad. This is going to be another sad year. They could be without Darling because of the COVID jab. They could be without some superstars this year, which could make them even worse. Now, 5 to about 8 wins this year. I'm going to put a central number out. I'm going to say 6. I'm going to say 6, 7. So I'm going to say 7 wins, right? Just hand him a couple of the benefits of the doubt. I'm going to hand him a benefit of the doubt against North Melbourne. And I'm going to hand them a benefit of the doubt against Adelaide, right? So there's 2. So that takes you from 5 to 7. I'm going to say 7 wins. I'm going to say 6. I'm going to say 6 with just one of them being a loss, right? So 6. That will get you, I reckon that could get you out of the bottom 4 into about 14th. So that gets them from 14th to about 14, 15. It's a pretty close range, which is quite close to where they finished last year, I think, as well. Was down in that area. So for West Coast, they're not really, and they can be a bit of an aging team as well. Now, they could definitely become a better team this year as well. So, yeah, I'm going to say 6 wins. But, yeah, for West Coast, you guys can let me know what you think in the comment section. Now, hardest, easiest part of the fixture. Now, this is quite a tough one. I am going to say that it is going to be this part right here where they've got multiple hard games in a row. So, we start up here at Fremantle. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, hang on. Wait, restart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 9 losses in a row. So it starts up at Fremantle, it goes down to the Western Bulldogs. I do think they could potentially get a win against Adelaide, though. And then it's back to hard. And then the easiest part, I reckon it's the run home. I reckon it is a run home here. So you've got Carlton, you've got Hawthorn, skip the Saints, you've got Gold Coast, and you've got Adelaide. Now, those are some reasonably easy games. Now, again, the one against Carlton could definitely go either way. The one against Hawthorn could go either way. So these games can go either way. So West Coast could be left with a really bad total this year. But I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm saying 6. Which means they either win against North or they win against Adelaide, but they drop one of them games as well. So maybe they might lose against Adelaide but win against North, or they might win against them both and get 7. I don't know. This is just a prediction, but I'm going to be saying 6 wins for West Coast in 2022. Now, I know this is just my opinion, so you guys can let me know in the comment section. But yeah, this is the second last team, the Fixture Reaction Series, Western Bulldogs next. All the other teams I've done, they're all in a playlist, so make sure to go and check them out in the playlist called 2022 Fixture Reaction Series. But I do hope you guys did this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the notification bell so then you guys will never miss another video. Thank you guys all so much for watching. So bye guys. Fire plays out.